Dear learners, welcome to the online course on electricity and safety measures. I am Dr. Rakhi Sharma from School of Engineering and Technology, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Learners, in today's session, we are going to discuss electrical safety procedures for general safety. So let us begin by asking, what do you understand by safety? Safety means the state or condition of freedom from danger or risk. Safety can also be termed as freedom of person from injury and of property from damage. So learners, to get the state of freedom from danger or risk, for this you must first create a safe environment, then work in a safe manner. Generally, it is best to remove the hazards altogether and create an environment that is truly safe. Safe work environments are created when the rules and the regulations are followed strictly. Friends, always remember the motto of safety first, as good work can be spoiled by accident, but you never know when materials or equipment might fail. Prepare yourself for the unexpected by using the safe work practices, which we now describe here. Use as many safeguards as possible. If one fails, another may protect you from the injury or death. So learners, the learning objective of this session is you should be able to discuss electrical safety procedures for general safety and working with electrical mains and apparatus. Certain important definitions related to safety aspects of various aspects of safety, this have been put together here for your reference. I'm explaining one by one. The first is authorized person. Several times use this word authorized person. What does it mean? An authorized person is a person authorized under a rule number 3 of IE rules or Indian Electricity Rule 1956 to carry out such duties incidental to the transmission, distribution and use of electrical energy, the nature of which should depend upon the technical knowledge and experience of the individual, and he should not be less in authority than a lineman or jointer, fitter and mechanic. Now, hazard. What is this? It is any unsafe act or unsafe condition that may lead to injury of persons or damage to property. Then emergency. Emergency means that an unusual condition exists which endangers life and property, or endangers life or property. Then protected device. What is this? Equipment specially designed for the protection of workmen and includes fire extinguishers. Then one word you use, approved. What is this? So when applied to articles of protected equipment, it means that these articles have been specified for use as per IS codes or by approval authority. That is Safety Concerns Committee established by head operations. Then one word you use, qualified. What is this? Qualified means any person who has adequate knowledge of the hazards involved in any operation. Then earthing. So earthing is a process of transferring the immediate discharge of electricity directly to the conducting mass of earth, that is earth plate, earth pipe, which is buried inside the earth. by means of a low resistance electrical cable or wire strips. Then electrical equipment. It means all the electrical apparatus pertaining to the sub-transmission, distribution and utilization of electrical energy. So these all are electrical equipment. Then employee. Employee means a person who is in receipt of pay, salary and other benefits from the company time to time in lieu of service rendered by him. And isolated. It means physically disconnected from all possible source of supply. That means isolated. Then permit to work. It means form of a declaration issued by an authorized person to another authorized person, sub-transmission or distribution kind of work, and this work to be carried out on any equipment in normal and breakdown conditions. Then power system control, PSC. It means the main controlling agency which controls and coordinates all switching operations of entire network in case of sub-transmission distribution, and including issue of permit to work. So this power system control, this also issue the permit to work. Then working party. It means the persons under the immediate supervision of an authorized person. So we first list the general safety precautions in the form of do's and don'ts. The first and foremost requirement for safety is that only qualified personnel should perform maintenance, inspection, repairs on any electrical equipment. Always evaluate personal qualifications. So now for the general safety precautions, what are do's and don'ts? First of all, we are discussing here do's and then don'ts. So what are these do's for general safety precautions? Learners, the work deliberately and carefully. Haste causes many accidents. Be sure of what you are doing. Then examine before use all safety appliances such as rubber, gloves, mats, ladders, goggles and insulated pliers, etc. Then for their soundness, they should be sound, whatever safety apparatus you are using. And test dates for the integrity of the equipment, and protective clothing in an independent safety lab. The next is ensure that operating procedures are up to date and appropriate for the given conditions. Always obey the safety instructions given by the person in charge. Other general safety precautions are wear required personal protective clothing, that is the long sleeve shirt and long pants, then flame resistant material for clothing, then different weights of protection dependent on the fault level and clearing times. So this the kind of the clothing depends upon the what is the fault level and what is the clearing time of that. Then other safety precaution is always report immediately to the person in charge or to any other proper authority of any dangerous condition or a practice which you may have observed. Then ensure that all portable appliances are provided with 3-pin plug and socket connections. Also, the metal work of the apparatus is effectively earthed. That means earthing should be there if the metal work is there. Always add the acid or soda to water and not vice versa. When mixing sulfuric acid or caustic soda and water for any work. Then other do's are always be cautious while lifting or removing healthy apparatus or material. Before working on motor or other rotating machines, make sure that it cannot be set in motion without your permission. Motors with thermal protection can restart without warning. Always lock out the motor before working on it. Warn others when they seem to be in danger near live conductor or an apparatus. Attend at once to all injuries, however slight they may be. So these were the general safety precautions. These were the do's. Now let us discuss about the don'ts. Do not work on a pole or any elevated position if there is a live part on it without the safety belt and rubber gloves, and unless the authorized person stand on the ground nearby to direct operation and give warning. Do not use ladder without a lashing rope, otherwise the ladder should be held firmly by another person. Do not remove safety tags or other signs or interface with safety barriers or go beyond them. So then do not wear loose clothing, metal watch strap, bangles or finger rings while working on appliances. Do not allow visitors and unauthorized persons to touch or handle any equipment or to come near the danger zone. Then do not disconnect a plug by pulling the flexible cable or when the switch is on. Do not go carelessly near running belt on the machine. So these are the general safety precautions. Other general safety precautions are: do not hang clothes and such other things on the electrical fittings. Do not enter excavations which give out obnoxious smell. And do not bring naked light near battery. Remember this. And smoking in the battery room is prohibited. Do not work in badly lit or badly ventilated and congested areas. So learners, these were some do's and don'ts or general safety precautions. So you will like to pause here and think, how many of these safety procedures are followed meticulously by personnel in your organization, in your utility? So we now spell out the safety measures and recommendations that must be taken by personnel working on the mains and the electrical apparatus for maintaining safe working conditions at the site. So safety precautions for working on electrical mains and apparatus. So work on the live mains should not be commenced unless it is specifically intended and done by specially trained staff. In such cases, all possible precautions should be taken to ensure that the safety of the staff engaged for such work and also of others who may be directly or indirectly connected with the work. A safe work environment is created by controlling contact with electrical voltage and the current they can cause. Electrical currents need to be controlled so they do not pass through the body. So learner, Your aim is to create the safe work environment. So in addition to preventing shocks, a safe work environment reduces the chances of fires, burns and falls. So what to do to create the safe work environment? Always guard against contact with electrical voltages and control electrical currents. You can make your environment safer by simply observing the following preliminary precautions. What are these precautions? Treat all the conductors, even de-energized ones, as if they are energized until they are logged out and tagged. I'm just explaining about this. What is this logged out and tagged? Then lock out and tag out circuits and machine. Prevent overloaded wiring by using the right size and right type of wire. With the right size and the type of the wire, you can prevent the overloading. Then prevent exposure to live electrical parts by isolating them. Then prevent exposure to the live wires and parts by using insulation. Then prevent shocking currents from electrical systems and tools by grounding them. Prevent shocking currents by using ground fault circuit interrupters. These are GFCIs. Prevent too much current in circuit by using overcurrent protection devices. So these are to make your environment safer, and simply by simply observing these preliminary precautions. So learners, what is this log out and tag out of circuit and equipment? So locking out and tagging out circuit and machines is must while working with electrical means and apparatus. So before working on circuit, you must turn off the power supply. Once the circuit has been shut off and de-energized, lock out the switchgear to the circuit so the power cannot be turned back on inadvertently. Then tag out the circuit with an easy to see sign or label that lets everyone know that you are working on the circuit. If you are working on or near the machinery, you must lock out and tag out the machinery to prevent startup. So before you begin work, you must test the circuit to make sure it is de-energized. So this is the importance of lockout and tag out of circuit and equipment, which is must to make your environment safe by simply observing these preliminary precautions. Learners, so here I would like to narrate a real incident to drive home the point about safety. The two electricians working at an automobile assembly plant and were replacing the bulbs and making repairs on light fixtures in spray paint booth. The job required them to climb on the top of the booth and work from above. The top of the booth was filled with pipes and ducts that restricted visibility and movement, and a flashlight were required there. So the electrician started at opposite ends of the booth. One electrician saw a flash of light but continued to work for about 5 minutes, then climbed down for some wire. While cutting the wire, he smelled a burning odor and called the other electrician. So when no one answered, he climbed back on the top of the booth. He found his co-worker in contact with a single strand wire from one of the lights. Needle-nose wire strippers were stuck in the left side of the victim's chest, and apparently he had been stripping insulation from an inappropriately grounded 530 volt single stranded wire when he contacted with the stripper. So in this case, the electrician knows or electrician knew that they were working on the energized circuits. The breaker in the booth's control panel were not labeled, and the lock used for lockout or tag out was broken. The surviving electrician stated that locating the means to de-energize a circuit often takes more time than the actual job. What lessons do you draw from this story? The electrician would be alive today if the rules had been observed. The circuit should always be shut off. What are these rules? That means the circuit should always be shut off and then tested to confirm that they are de-energized before starting a job. Switchgear that shuts off a circuit must be clearly labeled and easy to access. Lockout or tag out materials must always be provided, and lockout tag out procedures must always be followed. So learners, now we will discuss the safety precautions in handling mains and apparatus. So what are the do's and what are the don'ts? We will discuss one by one. So first we are discussing the do's or the safety precautions in handling mains and apparatus. So place safety tagging or other warning boards on the main switch before commencing work. For example, place sign "People at Work" on the main switch. So before replacing a lamp or handling a fan, make sure that the supply is switched off. Use correct size and quality of the fuse wire when renewing blown fuse. And while working with the apparatus and mains, for earthing and short circuiting, while working on dead mains and apparatus, only appropriate methods like earthing chains, earthing rods, etc. should be used. Measures should be taken against the inadvertent energizing, that is back charging, of the mains and the apparatus. When removing the fuse, pull out the supply end first, and when replacing, put the supply end at last. It's very clear to you, I think. That means when you are removing the fuse, pull out the supply end first. Okay, and when you are replacing, put the supply end at last. So before working on any circuit or apparatus, make sure that the controlling switches are opened and locked, or the fuse holders withdrawn. Always treat circuit as alive until you have proved them to be dead. The insulation of the conductor may be defective. Remember, guard against arcs as well as high voltages. Remember that burns from arc may be very severe. So friends, while working with main and apparatus, cultivate the habit of turning your face away whenever an arc or flash may occur. See that all the splices and connections are securely made. Use extreme care when breaking an inductive circuit Why? Because dangerously high voltage is likely to result. Thoroughly discharge the all cables before working on the cores. Here I am saying that you should discharge to earth all cables. So, when or before working on the core of the cable which is conducting. Test rubber gloves periodically and place rubber mats in front of our electrical switchboard. So now we are going to discuss the safety precautions in handling mains and apparatus, and we have already discussed do's. Now we are discussing don'ts. So don't allow visitors and unauthorized persons to touch or handle electrical apparatus or come within the danger zone of high voltage apparatus. Do not use lamp in a metal holder fixed to the end of the loose flexible wire as a portable hand lamp. Do not connect single pole switch or fuse in a neutral circuit, but always connect in the live or phase wire. So that means the fuse should be connected only on the live side or live wire phase wire side. It should not be connected in the neutral side, which may be earth. Learners, do not renew a blown fuse until you are satisfied as to the cause and have rectified any irregularity. And other safety precautions: do not use copper wire as a substitute for the fused wire. Do not touch or tamper with any electrical gear or conductor unless you have made sure that it is dead and earthed. High voltage apparatus may give a leakage shock or flashover even without touching in case of the high voltages. So do not close any switch unless you are familiar with the circuit which it controls and know the reason for its being open. Other safety precautions while working on mains and apparatus: do not work on live circuits without the express order of the person in charge. Make certain that all safety precautions have been taken and you are accompanied by a second person competent to render first aid and artificial respiration. Do not disconnect earthing connections or render ineffective the safety gadgets installed on mains and apparatus. Then do not expose your eyes to the electric arc. Painful injury may result even with short exposure. The other safety precautions while working on mains and apparatus: do not tamper with metal boards and cutouts unless you are authorized to do so. Do not close or open a switch or fuse slowly or hesitantly. Do it quickly and positively. Don't place any part of your body in a circuit either to ground or across the terminal when making a connection or doing operation. Do not touch an electric circuit when your hands are wet or bleeding from a cut or abrasion. Do not touch the circuit with bare fingers or hand or other makeshift device to determine whether or not it is live. Do not work on energized circuits without taking extra precautions such as the use of rubber gloves and wooden handles. So learners, these were the do's and don'ts, the safety precautions while working with the mains and apparatus. So let me summarize this session. In this session, The safety measures and recommendations that must be taken by personnel working on the mains and electrical apparatus for maintaining safe working conditions at the site have been spelled out. So learners, with this I am ending this session. In the next session we will come up with a new topic. Thank you and happy learning.